Hi everyone, kia ora koutou and welcome. I'm Janice Mackay, your host, and I am the Welcoming Communities Advisor for Ashburton District Council. We're so pleased to have you join us along with our panellists today, Marie Ward from the Ministry of Social Development, or MSD, and Bevan Rickaby from the Economic Development, he's the Economic Development Manager at Ashburton District Council. So welcome to this free and live webinar. This webinar is part of a series to help build community resilience, showcase a snapshot of our local expertise and to spark ideas and connections during the COVID-19 lockdown period. Today, Marie Ward from the Ministry of Social Development is here to help anyone who has lost their jobs during COVID-19 restrictions. Tackled from a few different perspectives, this insight into receiving support and assistance from MSD will cover corporate workers, newcomers, and migrant workers. Our guest, Marie, is the MSD's Service Centre Manager for Ashburton. She has been with the Ministry for 20 years and has held her current position for 2. Marie has had experience across the Ministry and has worked in the National Office on various employment projects. She is passionate about helping people be the best they can be and to participate both economically and socially in their local communities. Connecting employers with the right employee is one of the keys to this. So today, this is an interactive session. Please feel free to send your questions to the panelists during the course of the webinar. You can do so either in the chat box, or if you'd prefer your question to be anonymous, please use the Q&A box. All questions will be noted, and questions that haven't been answered live, we encourage you to speak to Marie directly after the live webinar. Marie's contact details and other government resources will be made available in a follow-up email to all attendees. All right, I will hand it over to you now, Marie and Bevan.
Hi, kia ora koutou out there, and welcome today. I'll let Bevan say hello first as well, and then we'll crack into it. You can tell us how it's all going to work.
Good morning all, and if you send your questions through, I will have them to one side, and I will attempt to interrupt Marie and get her to answer the questions.
Sorry, Bevan knows I like talking, so that's why I'm going to have to interrupt me. Hey, look, I'm just going to, I'll just start off the day. It's going to be quite informal. I'm going to give you a just brief summary about what's happened since we've gone into COVID-19 in terms of MSD and what we've been doing. And then I'm sure you guys have got lots and lots of questions as well. And as Janice said, at the end of the session, if you want to speak to me or email me about a particular issue, if I haven't been able to address that throughout the session today, or anything like that, because sometimes it's nice to talk to somebody straight away, I'm more than happy for you to have my details as well, because I know this is a stressful time for our whānau and for our community as well. It's a bit unknown, isn't it, out there? So as you all know, I'm the Service Centre Manager for the Ashburton Work and Income Office, and I'm proud to be that as well. Ashburton is a really unique area. We're in the middle of Dunedin and Christchurch, and we usually have a really buoyant labour market here in the Ashburton area. In fact, we're usually above average in terms of our employment and things, and we buck the trend for the country. And at this moment in time, you'll look around and you'll see that the farmers and all those people are still busy working, and our agriculture and horticultural people are working. But we do understand that there are some shops that are with shut doors and things like that. So as you know, COVID-19 has had a huge impact on people and their employment. People in terms of the connectivity, and that's a really important thing that does matter to us as well in terms of social interaction, but also that employment and that economic effect as well. And so it's been difficult. So you will have already seen that the government has put out several packages already to try and address some of those impacts. And the wage subsidy is probably one of the biggest resource that's come out to date. I'm probably going to split this into two parts. So part of this will be around wage subsidies and about people who are employed and being supported by wage subsidies. And then we'll branch into more around if you don't have a job now, what can we do and how can we help you as well. So the wage subsidy came into being on the 26th of March. And hopefully all employers who have been entitled to apply have applied for that. There has been some changes over the weeks as things have progressed. So it's really important that maybe you didn't, for those employers that happen to be on the line, if maybe you didn't think that you qualified at that time, that you do go into, you can go onto the Work and Income website or the government website and check out, or even just COVID-19, those websites, and check up to see, does this still mean I don't? The main qualifications for the wage subsidy was that for a 1 month period that you would have at least a 30% actual or proposed reduction in your income for your business, and that you had employees, or you might be a sole trader or self-employed yourself, and you could apply. There were subsidies for full-time and for part-time. So you may have a mixture of those that work for you as well, so you could apply for both. And so it's definitely encouraged that you go and check up on there, and I'm sure there might be some questions that come in around those subsidies at this time. As I said, they have changed. You know, there's been some expansions and things, and especially going from level 4 into level 3 as well. For example, the leave payment, that has changed as well. So that leave payment was originally for essential businesses whose employees could not work because they'd either been, they've had to isolate, or they're one of the people deemed vulnerable. But that has been expanded now to all businesses that are able to open, and those people can't go to work and are unable to work from home as well. So that's a really important change, and that came in from the 1st of May. There are other things as well. You might have only applied for some of your employees, but now you're thinking maybe I should have applied for all of them. There's lots and lots of different things in there. So go and check out the websites and go and see, does this mean now I do qualify? One of the big questions out there is, now that we're back into level 3 and my business is running again, do I have to pay back the subsidy? Because of course the subsidy was a lump sum for 12 weeks. Well, the question for that, as long as you meet the criteria for 30% reduction for that 1 month period, that no, you do not have to pay that, the balance of the 12 weeks if you're back working again, as long as you still have that 30% reduction. I know that's been a big question around there as well. Another big question is around, I employ workers on work permits. Does that mean I should, can I apply for them? And I think you can, as long as your employees are legally employed in New Zealand. It doesn't matter, they don't have to be permanent residents, but they're legally employed, they're here on work permits, casual work permits, those types of things. You can apply for the wage subsidy for those employees as well, as long as you meet all the other criteria, which are quite brief, those criteria, but it was all really around your business situation at the 17th of March. So they're the two big hot topics, I think, around the wage subsidy. Remember, go in there, check it out, and make sure that if you haven't applied and you think you might qualify, go and check it out as well. We do have a website, an email address that you can go to if you're not sure, if you've got any questions. You can write it down now, but we'll also hand it out at the end of the session. The girls told me I should fire out websites as well as you'll get it at the end. But it's so R for rabbit, T for Tom, _ Canty, CANTY, at msd.govt.nz. So that's for employers. So for any employers out there who've got any questions, not sure, you've applied, things have changed, and all those sorts of things, go and get onto there if you've got any questions, and they will get back to you. Yeah.
I've just got one thing around migrant workers, Marie, just while you're doing, handing out email addresses, etc., and websites. So you said that if I employ migrant workers, I can still get the subsidy. But what if I'm a migrant worker? I understand I can't actually apply direct for a benefit.
So benefits are different to wage subsidies, yes. Yeah. So the wage subsidy is about people that are legally employed in New Zealand and have legal residence status, whether it be work permit, permanent residency, etc. So wage subsidy different. When it comes to benefits, if you're here on a work permit, no, you cannot apply for a benefit. But what we would do is if you're in that situation and your employer has not applied for a wage subsidy, and if you do happen to be in that case, you need to go back and say to your employer, have you applied for a wage subsidy for me? That's probably one of the biggest questions that we've had from anybody that's contacted MSD regarding benefits. Go back and check with your employer. We've been happy to talk to employers as well, just to clarify whether they're entitled to or not. So that would be the number one thing to do. Go and check. You can apply for me. I'm here legally. I have a work permit. Please do apply. That's as long as the business meets the criteria with the 30% reduction. Unfortunately, if you don't meet that criteria in terms of, and we've heard that some businesses out there have employees who can't go to work because they're having to look after their children. We can refer you through the Civil Defence 0800 number, which is, and I do have it somewhere around here in my little thing. So that's 0800 242 411. They will link you in with the Newcomers Network, and there is some separate funding to help you out there as well. But just remember, now that we're in level 3, that the schools are open for people who have to go to work and need to go to work, and schools are there to take your children as well, if that was the reason why that you couldn't go to work. Okay, does that answer your question, Bevan?
Yes, I think it does, and I also I think people should tune in on Wednesday at 10 o'clock because we do have an immigration expert talking, so we might be able to give them a lot more information as well at that time. Yeah,
definitely, yeah. So the wage, along with the wage subsidy, there's also help for businesses in terms of, I think 2.8 billion in business tax changes has been put up as well from the government, including provisional tax threshold lift, reinstatement of building depreciation, and writing off some interest and late payment taxes and things. So there's other things there as well. And most recently, the small business cash flow loan, which has come out for all businesses as well, for any employers on there. Understand it's a loan of $10,000 and $1,800 per employee. Now, that's not an MSD, it's not administered by MSD, that's administered through IRD. So if you had questions around that, I would be going onto the IRD website to check out the information on that. Yeah, that loan there for businesses as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose we come to the crux of I've been working for an employer for some period of time. He's opened back up again, or trying to open, but just cannot afford to run at the same levels. And it has always been my understanding that when you applied for a job seeker's benefit, that there was a stand down period. Now, does that still apply, even though I got a redundancy?
No. So when COVID-19 came, Minister Sepuloni announced that all stand downs will be waived. So stand downs are based around your last 26 or 52 weeks income. Now, it's all a bit of administrative for us, but basically they're not there anymore. Now, however, some people may get paid out holiday pay if they have any left and that sort of thing. That's different because that's worked out into days. So that would class as you're still employed while you're still receiving your holiday pay payment, even though you get it in a lump sum. But generally there is no stand down. Yeah. If I can just go a step back, because that was a really good question and that does worry some people. But if I go a step back, at the moment, what we're doing as well, MSD, is that we're actually contacting all employers who have applied for wage subsidies. First starting off with those who've applied for the leave subsidy to see, well, if you're having to pay a subsidy for somebody that can't come to work, do you need somebody else to fill in that gap until they can come back to work? Because we have a whole bunch of people that unfortunately can't, have become newly unemployed, no fault of their own, really good workers, great people, wanting to get back into the workforce and matching up. And you would have seen things on the television, you know, am I allowed to call them air hostesses, whatever they're called now? They're all, you know, you see some of them that have been working in the supermarket, so they've been using their customer service skills and changing into other jobs and things like that. And there's a myriad of different things matching across, you know, Work and Income, for example, have employed 300 extra staff across the country. Currently, there are contact centre roles based out of Christchurch that are up on the website as well. So while we're all thinking there is no work at the moment, actually work is going on and people are employing as well. So we're talking to them about the people that are on leave. We're also talking to employers that have contacting employees who've applied for the actual general wage subsidy, is around, you know, how can we help support your business? You know, what is the future? For some people, we don't know, but for others, it's how we can support you, how we can keep employees to you, and those types of things as well. Yeah, it's a scary time, and you've got to admit it's a scary time for a lot of people, but there's also been some great opportunities out there. And for those of you that happen to be on the Preen email, you know, look how the Preen dress shop is working now. They'll take you for a visit through the shop, you know, via Zoom, and you can see what you can buy and all those sorts of things. So, and we all know we've been to Robert Harris and Taste and all those other, you know, all the other coffee shops that are, you know, the non-contactors pick it up. I mean, what was the line like in Ashburton on the day that KFC and McDonald's opened? You know, people are wanting to get back out there and support their local businesses as well. So that's really important too. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question that's come in, and it was one that we've been talking about over the last week or so, and that is around training and some skills program. Now, some people,
yeah,
this will be the first time that they have been in a situation where they can't work and through no fault of their own, and
yeah,
they're going to actually need to gather some skills and actually applying for those jobs. Now, we have been talking to some training organisations, both you and me, around what we can actually do. So would you like to go into a little bit more detail around what for people to look out for, because what's going to be available shortly?
Yeah. So for those of you waiting for me to talk about, you know, benefits and things, we'll get there, don't panic. But what Bevan's talking about is that we understand that for a lot of us doing the job and the transferable skills that we can get are the easy part. It's actually finding the job and applying for the job is the hard part. For some of you, you may never have needed to have a CV before. For some of you now, especially with COVID-19, a lot of the jobs are now just all online. You'll have an interview online and all those types of things. So it's quite different. How do I present myself to an employer? You know, the roles that I've done, if you go back to those airline hostesses, you know, thinking about what they do, if you ever stand on a plane and watch what they did, you know, there are a lot of transferable skills that those people had to go to another job. But sometimes we need to sit down and talk to somebody about what we've got. And then that may actually lead to some training. Actually, I might need to retrain. Maybe I've always, I can actually drive a heavy truck, but I've never got my heavy truck licence. You know, we know that the trucks are still scooting all around the country, delivering all their food and their produce and all those types of things. So it's about thinking differently. So we're looking at linking up with a local training provider to offer some of those, some of that support to people to help them be the most competitive they can be in the labour market at the moment as well. And that will not just be for people who are getting a benefit. We are, the council is endeavouring to gain some funding to help people who may not qualify for benefits as well, to get them to be, as I said, the most competitive and back into that labour market. The local council, the Ashburton Council, also has a website which is Mid-Canterbury, I'm going to say this wrong, is open for business. So that's showing you what businesses are open and going. I'm not sure how many are on there at the moment, Bevan.
It's
quite a few.
Yeah, just on to 200, and that's
Nice.
that's actually quite good, because on there is a little icon. So if someone's on that website and they are looking to employ, it's actually there. So go on Midcan Open for Biz.nz, and it's there, and it's really easy to work. And also what you're talking about, and you mentioned just a few minutes ago about talking for benefit. I've got a question here which probably will segue into that, and that is, I haven't ever applied for benefits, so I have some nervousness around this. So please, can you give me some simple tips in dealing with MSD, and you might want to deal with that, and what's actually available for them.
Nice. So as you'll know, at the moment, our doors aren't open. Now that might change under level 2 in terms of there'll be some face-to-face, but at the moment your dealings with us will be via the phone or online. The best nervousness, I get it, I understand. We all like to be in control of our lives and be able to support ourselves and be doing what we want, but MSD is here to help us in these times. And it may not be that you end up getting a benefit, but maybe it is just to talk to somebody and get some support and some tips and some tricks. The best thing for you to do first off is to go onto the Work and Income website. The Work and Income website has an online tool. I don't know how many of you out there have had kids that have gone to StudyLink and gone into study before, but it's very similar to that tool where you can go in, it says apply online, and there's a wee calculator there that will just tell you, fill it all in. It'll ask you information like name and address, if you've got children, partner, income, those types of things. And it will tell you at the end of it what you might qualify for. Now, with Work and Income, we've got lots and lots of different types of assistance available. So that's not for you to worry about, because we're the experts and we can help you with that. You just give us the information and then we'll tell you what you might qualify for. The two main things are that you can get what we call in-work payments. So for some of us, it may be that just one of us, might be a married couple de facto, where one of us has lost their job and the other one is still working. That may mean that you actually qualify for some in-work payments to help pay for your mortgage and those types of things. And that means that you're not actually on the benefit as a job seeker. However, you can still use all our products and services, our websites, our job searching tools and all that to find a job, so that's no problem. That just means you might get some extra money to help you with your accommodation costs and that sort of thing. If you are under the income limit, and I'm not going to give you the income limits on there, you can look on the website because they all depend on your family situation. But if you are under the income limit, we can grant you a benefit as long as you have a New Zealand residency status. As before I mentioned earlier, the people here on work permits unfortunately cannot get them. But if you have a permanent residency status, we will put you on a benefit for as long as you need until you return to work. we will be working closely with you around helping you get back into the workforce, helping you get prepared, helping you become competitive, and linking you with employers. What you need to provide for us, there is some general stuff that we need to, first we need to ID you, we need to know your identity, so that's simply supplying us, and we're very, we've got very cunning, and you can upload that on the website. So if you've got a bit of technology, you can just scan and upload copies of your birth certificate, driver's license, those types of things. We would need to know your bank account number, so where you're going to pay where your money is. We need your IRD number, and then we just might need a few other things about you. So it might be your mortgage or your rent costs. If you have any ongoing health conditions, do you have any costs related to that? And there's a myriad of other things, but we would be talking to you there. My advice is when you're on the phone with the first person that you will speak to, when you go through the 0800 number after you've done your apply online, you'll be talking to a contact centre rep. The best thing is just, if you don't understand, just tell them, I don't understand, I'm not sure. If you don't have access or you don't have the ability to download things, tell them that. One of the, often I'll find is I'll get somebody that will come through to me as the manager, and they've got frustrated, and when we have a bit of a yarn about things, it's just that we're just not sure, you know, here I am, I'm unemployed now, and it's all a bit scary for me, and I'm talking to Big Brother or the government, and but we're here to help you, so just keep talking to us. If you don't understand what we need, just keep asking questions. If you want to, you can write the contact centre person's name down. Just do what makes you feel comfortable, but we're here to help. It may be that you've just got a query. You know, you don't have to give us your full name and number for all those sorts of things. You're just wanting to have a chat and ask what you might be entitled to as well. So that's what we're there for, definitely.
Well, I've got a backup question to that, because someone has asked if I've got a possible opportunity, but it's a couple of weeks away before I'm going to actually find out about it, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to actually get the job or not. Should I wait until then before I apply, or should I just go ahead and apply, and then I can ring you up and say, sorry, I got a job?
Go ahead and apply. Go ahead and apply. Go ahead and do an online application. Even if in 2 weeks' time you don't, you might be entitled to the payment during there. We do have other types of assistance, helping people get back into work, transition to work grants, where sometimes we can pay some bridging payment between where you don't necessarily go on to a benefit if you've left one job and going to another job within 4 weeks. So that means that you don't have to go through the full benefit application. Get on the blower or go online and get yourself registered. You may be entitled to some money. It may be that this new job means that you've got some specific clothing, or you don't get paid for 2 weeks or something like that. And get on the blower and talk to us. There's different ways that we can help you. We want to try and make that transition from one job to another as seamless and as easy as possible. Unfortunately, we don't pay well, but we do pay something, okay? So definitely just give us a ring and have a talk. It's the best thing, yeah.
Now, I've had a question here, and I don't understand it. You may understand. Can you explain to me how Real Me works?
Okay, so you don't need a Real Me to apply for MSD. Originally, a long time ago, and it may say, have you got a Real Me, but you don't need a Real Me. You just go in to apply online, and then it will ask you to register. If you don't, you will need to have a client number for that. If you don't have one, you just ring the 0800 number and they will assign you a client number. And then if you've got any questions, they'll talk you through the process. I don't know about you, but I tell my kids, I stay on the line with anybody until I've got to the end of whatever. my kids go, oh, mum, you're silly and you're an old fuddy-duddy, whatever. But I said, once I've got somebody on the phone, I like to be able to make sure I've got to the end of the process. And that's what our people are there for. If you're not sure about signing up for a My MSD, so once again, you don't have to have a real me, okay? They will assign you a client number and they will help you through the process. Just tell them, I'd like you to stay on the line and help me, and they will do that.
Okay, so that probably goes to the next question I have. Do I need an MSD number? And if so, how do I get one? That's pretty much what you're explaining. There. Okay, so at Real Me or MSD number, same thing. Ring up, ring the 0800 number, stay there until you get one.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that you will need is you'll either need a cell phone or number or a email address. That's the only thing that you do have to have, because they will send you a PIN number to put in, and then you just assign yourself with your own wing number. Yeah, just a bit like your cash flow card number. Yeah.
Okay, Marie. Now, MSD is not just the benefit paying organisation. You do have people that actually physically get out there and help people find jobs. Can you just explain a little bit about what the expectation that new to MSD should have when that happens?
Yeah. So at the moment, with COVID-19, because we know that we've got a lot of people that are fresh to the, just left the labour market and are itching to get back to work, and we've got employers out there as well. And I'll just use an example. There's a lot of employers out there that are used to using the backpackers and those sorts of people to maybe, move their vegetables out of the, cultivate the vegetables, those sorts of, or harvest, should I say, the vegetables and those sorts of things. So there are employers out there looking. It may not be full-time permanent at this moment, but there's some temp work as well. I mean, one of my biggest advices would be go and register down at Canstaff as well, in Ashburton. Get yourself registered all around. In terms of us, we have work brokers in our office, and work brokers are the people, they are out there talking to employers, and they're the people who are ringing, especially the employers who have received wage subsidies, and trying to find out where the job vacancies are as well. We also have a dedicated team of case managers who will be ringing all the people that are new onto benefit, as well as looking after our existing clients and helping them become competitive in the job market, making sure they've got a CV. If you don't have a CV, we will help arrange for you to get one, helping talk you through job interview type techniques. Do you know how to apply online? Suggesting websites and those types of things. Now, Work and Income have also introduced a new online job searching platform, which is on our Work and Income site, which when you go onto the site, if you go to jobs, it will take you to that site. That's where employers and employees can list their jobs or list that they are looking for work. So this is an independent one. We have a job matching system as well through Work and Income, but this is independent. So this is you get on and you put the best of you on that, and then the employers are listing jobs. I went and had a look in there this morning, and there was seven listings just in the Ashburton area. Where did I write it down? It was in customer service, automotive and agricultural area. But it's about keeping New Zealand working is the name of the website. So, but it's access to the Work and Income website. We're also working with industries, and prior to COVID-19, for example, we're initiating a bit of a partnership with the Ashburton District Council around some training into different industries for people without a job. Linking into some big employers around the Ashburton District. Now things are slightly changed, but we've still got, caregiving positions. There's still, the builders are back, you'll see down the street. The roadworks on that we all love at the moment in Ashburton, they've all started back up again and all those sorts of things. So people are out there working. So we also have wage subsidies. So if an employer's looking to take you on and you might need a wee bit of training in that new job, we can help subsidise that job as well. So there's lots of products and services that we can help. The best thing is when you do meet up with us and a case manager rings you to talk to you about what you're wanting to do, your job searching, your transferable skills, all those wonderful skills that you've got and that you can put into other jobs and things like that. Make this about you. It's really important. Make it about you. Make this as an opportunity. And it may be that you've got an A plan and a B plan. So your A plan might be I'm going to get a job now, but your B plan might be that actually I'm going to get the job I really want. But staying in work is the best thing, and it's always going to make you the best competitive as much as possible as well. Now, also just thinking about if you do happen to come on a benefit, you do get offered 2 or 3 weeks work. The benefit's really flexible. We can just stop and start it. You might be offered a couple of days work in a week. We can charge income, which means you might still get some of your benefit. It's very, very flexible. All you need to remember is just let us know that you're working and when you're not working, and we'll fix everything up for you as well.
Okay, there's something that you just touched on there before. So if at the moment, if there's a builder or a plumber or a business that would like to take on an apprentice, but just saying, you know, we're just coming out of this. I can't really afford it, but I know I'm going to down the track because I've got some possibilities. Now, you just touched on subsidies. There are some subsidies, aren't there, for
Yeah, there is.
For helping pay some wages in the initial stages?
Yeah. And that's generally around the job seeker and their skills and their match to the job, and how long they haven't been working and those sorts of things. But for most of our people at the moment that are new onto a benefit, you may be having to look at things that you haven't done. And you know, if I went to a different job today, I would have to learn some new things as well. We're never going to have 100% matched what an employer wants. So this is just in recognition of that. The best thing to do is just to contact 0800 559 009. Or for employers, they can contact the employer line. And I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. That was a bit slack of me. But we'll leave that at the end. If the employer has an opportunity and they want to give somebody an opportunity, just ring that number up and a work broker will speak to you, and we'll see if we've got A, we might have somebody that's suitable, and B, the employer might already have somebody that's that they know of. And also job seekers, you can go and introduce yourself to employers as well, and come to us and say, hey, he's got a job, he's not sure, I've got to do a bit of training. Come and talk to us and we can talk turkey for you.
Yeah, because what I'm hearing is if you've applied for a job, don't stop there. You know, go out, go to the local companies that do part-time, full-time employment. Go to those employment companies, get yourself registered there. Keep making your own phone calls, you know, and, you know, set yourself up and say, well, I'm going to make 4 phone calls today, because if you look in any of the newspapers, and it doesn't matter whether it's our local one or nationwide, there is very few jobs being advertised. So you need to actually make those contacts and keep making. And even if you're a business and looking for someone, contact the MSD, because they don't know all the jobs that are actually out there.
That's right.
So it's really a two-way thing, isn't it, Maria? It's not just you guys sitting there knowing everything. No. And people just applying for benefit, walking away and saying, well, that's that job done, I'll wait to hear back from them. No,
it's, look, in job searching, I always, it's a bit like fishing, you know. I'm not sure how many of you guys have gone and thrown your fishing rod out the first time, caught a fish. But and it's about your tackle, you know, it's about having the right fly and all those sorts of things. And that's what we're here to help you with. It is a hard job. It's a hard job looking for a job. But if you've got support and people around you, and we can help you be as competitive as possible in the job market. But it's also about, you know, you've got to keep throwing that rod out. You've got to cover all your bases. You've got to be listed with the agencies. You've got to be talking to your family and friends. You've got to be letting them know you're looking for work. I don't know, it's happened to me before in the past when, you know, somebody said to me, gee, I wished I'd known you were looking for a job. We just took somebody on last week. You know, you would have been perfect. It's happened to me in the past, you know. It's about thinking about, you know, all these places that might have potentially, you know, while we are trying to ring all the employers who've received the wage subsidy and see if there's any help. But, you know, where are the essential jobs? You know, what's happening out at ANSCO at the moment? I know there's people at ANSCO that can't work. You know, do they need people? You know, if you've got a driver's license and you can get out there, maybe that's the right thing for you. But it's just about thinking around your, you know, doing a bit of investigating, talking to people, talking to local employers as well. We're all in this together, as Jacinda keeps saying, but we are all in this together. As quick as we can get you back to work and support you and support our employers, the best thing for our economy and for our children in the future, really. Yeah.
Okay, and so we kind of about ready to wrap it up. So if you just wanted to go through a couple of those websites and also the phone numbers again, and I just while you're looking for those, if you don't remember them all off by heart, I'll just talk about the Mid-Can Open for Biz one. Go on there, have a look. We've got 200 businesses registered on there. If you're a business and you're not already registered there, there's a little icon that says I'm hiring. Go in there and have a look. And there was about 10 businesses in there. I had a look over the weekend that were actually looking to hire people. So go in there and have a look. And also start making those phone calls. And as Maria said, don't be afraid to contact MSD. They will pass on the information they've got, and some of those numbers and websites that you can go to, Marie has for you now.
Yeah, right. So for the if I go back to the start, so look, a lot of the information I've talked to you about today is on the Work and Income website. So you're just going to put Work and Income in your browser search and it will come up. The phone number for Work and Income is 0800 559 009. And my apologies, I'll have to, I haven't got the employer line here. That's a bit slack of me. If you are an employer who's applied for a wage subsidy and you are a bit, or maybe thinking maybe I should have now, or got some questions, the local address for that is R for rabbit T, so RRT _ Kenty, CANTY at msd.govt.nz. Now, I didn't talk about as well, there's also an information line for employees as well who have got any questions about whether they should be getting subsidy or not. And so that's at info@employment.gov.nz, and there's an 0800 number for that. So that's 0800 20 90 20. So that's for the employees as well. Just a reminder that there's been changes with that wage subsidy. So if you're an employer, you didn't think you qualified before, check it out, maybe you can now, especially with the leave payment change that's coming from the 1st of May. So that's really important for anybody that, you know, it's just not for essential now, it's for anybody that's back working. If you're a migrant worker and you are only here on a work permit and do not have work, make sure you check out with your employer again to see whether they should actually be applying for a subsidy for you, because that's not dependent on you being, it's just dependent on you being legal to work in New Zealand. So check that out and make sure that's happening. If not, please ring the Civil Defence line, and so that's 0800 242 411. So that's and they will hook you in with the Newcomers Network around help that they might be able to give you as well. I did There's a new online recruitment tool on the Work and Income website. So that's Keep New Zealanders Working. So that's for employers to list jobs, and that's also for people to list themselves as available for work as well. If you are an employer and you're thinking you might want to take somebody on, but you might need to do some training, you might qualify for a subsidy for that person, give Work and Income a ring, and we will be out. There's some good stuff on the website on there as well, but give them a ring or go on online on the website and we'll hook somebody up with you. If you're out of work, whether your partner's working or not, go on and go onto the Work and Income website and check out what you might be able to apply for. Remember, there's work for people who are above some income limits for a main benefit. They might be able to get help with their accommodation supplement, etc., to help pay for mortgages and rent. But there's also benefits for those of you. And don't wait. Don't wait. If you think I might have a job in 2 or 3 weeks' time, I don't want you to spend all your life savings, okay? Don't wait, get in and see us. And once again, my advice, if you don't understand what they're saying on the phone, tell them to slow down, tell them to repeat it, tell them you're not sure. We're happy for people to have an advocate or a family member with them on the other end of the phone just to help them through that process as well, okay? But I think just keep safe out there as well. Make sure you're maintaining your bubbles. We want to not be in level 3 forever. I know working from home has been an interesting concept for me, and I know for a lot of people out there as well. But remember, there's just, I know for some of you around our mental and our mental well-being and our health and well-being, don't forget there's the 1737 line if anybody is feeling lonely, vulnerable, needs somebody to talk to. And also for anybody that may be suffering from family violence out there or family harm, it's still okay to ask for help. All those agencies are still working and we're still out there to support you as well. But that's it. And my details are going to be handed out at the end of this as well. And if you want to email me directly, that's fine. I won't be dealing with you forever, but if you just want to have somebody to have a yarn with, or I might be able to connect you up with the right person, do that as well. But hey, Ashburton's an awesome, awesome district and a wonderful place to work from, and work with. The organisations around here are just amazing, and the partnerships and the things that they're trying to do to keep people happy and healthy and economically sound is just amazing. So thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, and just before we bring Janice in to wind it up, just a reminder that we did talk about migrant workers earlier on, and we will have our immigration person doing their free webinar on Wednesday. And if you go on to the council website or council Facebook, or just send us a note on economicdevelopment@govt.nz, we can send you back an invitation to be part of that free webinar. And Marie, thanks very much. I think there's been some fantastic information in there, and between what we're trying to do as far as the getting some good learnings going with a couple of the providers around how to do CVs, how to apply, that will come out over the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. But I go back to exactly what you said. Don't be afraid to give MSD a ring. Thank you, Jenna.
Definitely.
Thank you, Marie and Bevan. And thanks also to those of you who tuned in and for putting forward your questions. In a day's time is when you'll receive a survey link along with the key phone numbers and websites from today. Also provided in that email will be a link to the Ashburton District Council webinar series, so you can watch this webinar and others from the series on demand and find out what's coming up next. So thanks again, and stay safe in your bubbles.
Yeah, ka kite.